There's my
Anyway,
confession, guys. But let's move on. What do you think Luck really has to do or learn, take away from tonight's games, even though it's not done? I think we all know where this is going to.
well, that was pretty toxic of you to say, but yeah, I think GLuck really needs to change up their mentality and focus on playing to win rather than playing not to lose. And I know that this is pretty much a platitude at this point in all real-time strategy games or games with a real-time strategy element in them. This is a statement that gets thrown around a lot, but I think that last game from GLuck really seemed to encapsulate the meaning of that statement. They were doing nothing for the entire game. Like, they were making no plays. They always made it to objectives, they always made it to in front of their destroyed buildings, but they didn't really do anything. They just sat by and watched while KSV Black eventually did whatever they wanted to. That's not going to win you games against good teams that know when to pull the trigger, that know how to capitalize upon small leads. So let's hope they do something differently this time around. To be honest, like, Sanctification was 100% the right choice, but like, I was almost hoping that they would just, maybe
At least
they
just go for one kill.
yeah, just take Judgment, like, go all in. Even if you lose, it will be a learning experience, whatever. Genji goes to GLuck this time, though.
We go on choke points. Hanzo is so good at clearing waves, not just waves, the camps, and doing all that damage with the scatter arrow to all the heroes. It is actually very easy on this map when you're fighting for the tributes. So I think that's also why Black just banned out Hanzo, as GLuck has the first pick.
Also, I know that Dragon Strike is a meme, and generally I really don't like to see it picked. But on this map, I think Dragon Strike has so many good usage points because all of the narrow corridors, well, not corridors, but you know what I'm talking about, on the map around the tributes, exactly the width of a Dragon Strike. So I think the Hanzo ban was the right decision in this case. And also, KSV Black, perfect pickup of Uther against Genji. Genji is 4-4 in HGC Korea so far, but he's 0-4 against Uther. So he can't really do anything against Uther, it seems, which is pretty obvious because we have been seeing that counter matchup all time last year. But I don't know. I feel like GLuck probably should have just first picked Uther if Genji was open. Generally, I feel that's a smarter strategy than just first picking Genji and hoping that the other team doesn't pick Uther. That's not going to happen at this level of play. The other picks are pretty, standard, I guess. And Uberok, always a good pickup against Uther, and also you want to deny it against the other team trying to take it from Genji. Dahaka standard on this map. Greymane, you pick him every time, whenever he's open, basically.
Yep, here we go, and we do have all the picks, and second bans happening already with Cassia, but GLuck seems like they're just taking away the picks of KSV Black from last game. And Uberok, of course, one of the best solid front line right now against the pokes. He's just so good, getting less damage, even without the healing from the back line. And Dehaka also to kind of control the globals in this gigantic map. So KSV Black, I think, but still they have lots of other ones. I think GLuck, after getting stomped by Tempest, Black should already have the answer against the Uberok here.
I mean, judging on the few things that they have been doing, like since their defeats to Tempest and, listening to what they're talking about the game right now, it seems that they have learned very quickly after their loss to Tempest, and judging from their drafts today, it looks like they're absolutely on top of the meta right now. No more random Malfurion picks, but we see some mixing up here right now with Uther Rehgar. I don't think double support has been picked in HGC Korea so far. This is the first...
Except for the Tassadar support.
But we don't really count that as double support, right? We just count that as healer plus Tassadar because he's in a specific niche. So this is the first double support composition that's being played in this current meta in HGC Korea right now, and I think it was to be expected in a way, because I discussed this even last year, but KSV Black looks so much better as a team when they're playing double support simply because Kyocha doesn't really have that much to show when playing as a solo support, I feel. When they're playing duo support with Sake, I think both of them perform really, really well in sync with each other. I actually thought Sake was one of the best flex supports last year by the end of the year. So I'm pretty excited to see how KSV Black will interpret the double support meta right now.
I think double support is, I guess that they think that's one of the answers against Nubarak's Cocoon. That's also why double support really started to rise up last year, because the Nubarak was doing so well with the Cocoon. That was the initial reason, and also lack of cleanse also from China. Reason why every team from all regions started to adopt the double support after the mid-season. But here we go. I think it may work, but there's a lot of poke and damage coming out from GLuck if they're able to get all that Junkrat damage. And also, if the silence works out, but I'm saying lots of if. Because if that right side of the draft, if Black had that draft, that would be a fantastic draft. Some pokes, some game-changing moves with Junkrat, Genji with the finishing move, taking all the kills. But here we go.
We are going to see Rich Zeratul. It's
Rich
going to be Rich,
Zeratul.
right? Or it could be Reset, I guess.
It has to be. I think it has to be Rich.
But both of them are so good at Zeratul, right?
Sake on the second support, and also Greymane can be worked with Reset sometimes. I think this will be our first professional game on Rich after the Zeratul rework, guys, and he was insane with the last community tournament that we had in Korea. He picked Zeratul and he literally destroyed the game by himself.
But at the same time, though, if we harken back to Super League Season 3 in 2016, Reset was probably the best Zeratul in the world during that time, right? So no matter which R started player plays that Zeratul, is going to be super exciting. And who is it? Didn't get to see.
Soon we will, and
It's
is
Rich.
KSV Rich on the Zeratul. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be very fun.
Not just the poking Q Zeratul, he will actually go in and out and back to the target and snap out and go back and
repeat
get
that
the kill and
couple of
escape,
times.
and he'll do all that flashy play. And make sure if you guys do not play Zeratul, even if you don't play Zeratul, I think this is a good chance to watch his play here, POV of Zeratul, what he does.
Yeah, this is literally why that website was created, so that you can tune into Rich's individual player cam right now. But to be fair, though, GLuck has a lot of lockdown on their compositions, right? You know, you have the Stick Off Silence, you have Nubarak, you have the Tongue. So if Rich steps out of bounds, then bad things are going to happen for the Protoss.
And guys, we're not treating the microphone. Something's wrong with our headset. We give that feedback to VSL, and they will fix it. So just bear with us today.
Does it sound like we're chewing our microphones?
I don't know.
I mean, I like lollipops,
some weird
but I'm not
sound.
sucking on this.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know who else
Wolf used to
it.
use this, so I'm not going to touch it with my
No,
mouth.
this one. I used to use that.
Oh, yours?
So
Alright.
that one's clean, but this one I don't know.
Good luck with that, GLuck.
Well, here we there's no first kills yet, of course, but Rich just soloing lane as sometimes we saw like lots of melee coming out from the bottom teams, and double melee just never worked. But here with Greymane, I think with that damage, it's kind of like pokes and do all that damage and get the low HP, and when that happens, either Zeratul or Greymane will just pick up the kill from Black's side, and on the other side, Genji will just swift strike in and then try to get that kill. That's what their team is trying to do, but with the sustain, in terms of sustain and healing, Black of course wins, but that's only if GLuck does not do as much damage when they're poking, because they do have Junkrat on their side.
That's true, but I really want to see Judgment this game. At this point, I know I probably just sound like a Judgment fanboy or something, if that is a thing. But it makes absolute sense against Stukov, don't you think?
I think it actually does, unless the silence hits big time, or Junkrat saves him with the concussion mine. I think that's going to be a super play that can come out. There's a CC chain onto
Oh,
Sake.
wow.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
That
yes.
was so good.
Here we go, and that's the CC combined with Overload, just throwing that mine, housing Uther away from the team and over the wall. We saw that play from NA also in Inferno Shrines from what I believe last night.
You know, Overlord has always been one to put in a lot of practice time on the crazy heroes. Oh, will he get reset?
Oh,
Close.
that was way too close. If he got any closer to the bush, I think Reset would have got the kill or at least traded the kill.
That was close for both sides.
It's one of the maps where Junkrat excels so much because of those pokes. You can check all the bushes. It's so easy to harass, to cancel the channeling of the tribute. Oh, you do have to be careful also, but you can go over the wall, over the terrain. That's one of the benefits of having Junkrat here. But Junkrat is actually a pretty hard hero to master, I think.
I mean, the tribute phase is going to be really annoying for KSV. You know, Genji is super annoying to, you know, channel the tribute against. So is Junkrat, as you mentioned. So is Anubarak, really, with the bugs and his Q and all. So is Stukov. Basically, this phase can last forever. Especially with Dehaka on GLuck's side, not KSV Black's sides.
Until Dehaka joins the team fight if he chooses to do so. After looking at the position, if Dehaka is able to grab onto Kyocha or Reset.
Basically, unless GLuck does something really stupid, this will go on forever. And
You said
GLuck...
that word.
What? Wait, did I jinx them or something?
No,
Is
no,
it going
no.
to happen now?
No, you can't say that. You can't say that S word. It's a bad word.
Oh wow. How should I rephrase it then? Like,
Uh,
not quite
less
intelligent.
talented?
like, unless GLuck do something mediocre.
Well, let's see. GLuck right now just pushing lane, and as Zeratul just going around each lane, harassing, soaking up the EXP. That's what lots of Korean Zeratul does, just goes around each lane and soak up EXP and tries to look for a kill, but at this moment right now he can't, and he's joining the teamfight right now as Rich tries to harass and do all that damage to the 3 as Dehaka seems like he will join from the back, and Kyocha is not really harassed too much. They already got the tribute. All they have to do is back out here at KSB Black.
That was really good silence placement at the start of the fight from GLuck, but unfortunately Dehaka falls. I'm pretty sure that the drag didn't get a lot of value. Manages to knock Reset to the side of the fort, but unfortunately it didn't hit. To be honest, I feel that the start of the fight looked really promising for the GLuck. And I don't know, the power of the double support sometimes comes through in these cases. It's been quite a while since we've seen, you know, double support against single support in the current patch. It's the first time ever. And based off on that fight alone, it seems like double support is still pretty much a decent choice when it just comes to these team fights. Although, when it comes to the tribute phase, we saw that GLuck had the trigger finger. I think the main issue, like, leading up to that moment in time was that GLuck was sort of caught off by KSV Black's sudden aggression. If you remember, you know, Tyrael and Zeratul suddenly went in without, you know, an apparent reason. So GLuck reacted really slowly to that. They failed to disrupt the tribute, and from there it sort of went downhill.
Ooh, but they're going all in on the Junkrat. Let's get the kill already, but Reset, can he escape? I think he just manages to do so with the healing coming out from Regar. And Sake is also going very low as Genji is looking for that kill with the strip strike all the way here and there.
That was really well played by Relic and GLuck in general. I was just about to say that their target concentration was terrible, but then Relic suddenly justifies their division of focus.
And here's that Dragon Blade as they are winning the sustain war. This is their moment, and they cannot win the sustain war, of course. So they have to go in all the way from the beginning, try to take as much damage as possible, and give that kill to Genji so he can use that blade to sweep things out.
Unfortunately, we don't have a replay functionality in HGC Korea as far as I know. But the key thing in that team fight, in my opinion, was when Reset managed to kill off Junkrat right at the start of the fight, but then he ate Junkrat's entire passive to his face. So he fell so low that he did no damage at all in the ensuing team fight, and then eventually Genji was healthy enough. Genji's E came off cooldown so he could just slice through two heroes at once.
Let's see, KSV Black, they're trying to go for sustain, but when they're looking for the kill, sometimes they dive in heavy. And GLuck really managed to find the hole in Black's positioning, and well done by Relic there. Also, Junkrat survived for a long time, and when they were chasing, did all the pokes, but here comes Black. They're trying to... Are they trying to dominate because Zerto's not here?
Which hero do you think either will take in this game? I think both make sense, really.
Let's see, 1-to-1 tribute here, as the next one is coming up on GLuck's side. But it gives a big advantage as Dehaka is still pushing with the boss. That may actually bring all the fort down all the way. It's only 8 minutes because the first tribute fight was so long. It's 8 minutes, but we don't still have the first curse of the game.
KSV Black know that they are on a timer right now. They have to be decisive.
Dehaka from the back. Which target is he going to just go? Does drag onto Zeratul, has to escape right now, and Tis is alone onto the other side with Reset. There is the tire popping right off. Great sanctification to buy time, and Genji cannot do as much damage as possible.
That was a really, really aggressive Dragon Blade to kick off the fight from GLuck's side, and for a moment it seemed to be backfiring, but thanks.
Oh man,
oh, wow.
Going back to the target. Here comes the flashy play that we're talking about, but when there are too many CCs,
God.
even Rich can't do a thing.
That was a really good chain CC from GLuck's side. And as you were talking about, you know, the boss push going on the top side, huge loss suffered from KSV Black in that fight, and I was not a fan of how Relic suddenly unsheathed this Dragon Blade and just jumped in and got chain CC'd all at once, prompting Uther to use Divine Storm. But in the end, it turned out to be pretty much worth it. He was saved by, you know, Stukhov's heal. Pretty clutch, I would say. Tiro and Zertul chased Genji all day, but eventually failed to kill him. And GLuck, with their slight level advantage, managed to clean up that fight. So far it seems like GLuck really are they are the real deal, right? I can't think of too many bad things KSV Black did in this game, apart from their somewhat unconventional double support pick, right?
Oh, Rich going very aggressive. I think they are still and the best of the three new teams into HGC Korea for sure.
Oh, I think like at this point it seems very, very clear. By far they look like the best team.
Yeah, unless they make some individual mistakes like just roaming around somewhere. That's the only thing they have to fix. And then right after, if they don't make those kind of mistakes, and Dehaka joining at the perfect timing, I think his rush start will be just in time. Let's come in with the cocoon.
Rich needs to be careful. There is still no cleanse on KSV Black's side. Not that he is in a position to receive it, of course.
And Sanctification is available, and Reset's going all the way in to do the damage. There's perfect Sanctification for Black, and GLuck really has to run away. There's a Dragon Blade trying to find the kill, but Reset gets that Ancestral. He will not find the kill here.
The timings of the Ancestral and the Sanctification were absolutely perfect coming out from KSV Black, turning it around what seemed to be not that great of a team fight. This is a really close game, and we honestly did not expect to be this close of a game. We were expecting Rich to dance circle around, you know, GLuck, but so far that's not happening. I have to say that Blue Beetle is doing an amazing job of, you know, taking care of, you know, Overlord, basically, because Zeratul is constantly trying to pick off Junkrat early on in these fights, and through the use of, you know, his W and his E, Stukov is doing so well to ward off that aggression.
Yep, also Junkrat actually using that tire to the minimum and also doing the most damage from the side, and Genji could not find the kill here. But the cocoon timing, when Dehaka is coming into the fight, they know exactly which target to focus on, and Black actually dispositions very hard. That's why we often see Tyrael alone or with Greymane onto the side, not really gathered up here. I think that creates a very good space for the entire team. Dehaka is the key here, as every single time he's just pushing lane from the other side. Now that's exactly why they were leading in the XP, but after that teamfight loss, they got caught up, but they will be start leading again. And when the teamfight breaks, let's keep on watching where Dehaka comes from, and just trying to harass a little bit now that he has the
Probably
holy
needs to
ground.
come now. He's coming now. Might land a taunt. Uther gets stunned.
Gets stunned, and he does miss that drag, but this is a good small choke point, and that sanctification will not help too much on the KSV Black as all that damage is going in. Great Ancestral to take out Anubarak from the beginning, but Blue Beetle taking one off all the way to the side. Junkrat does survive. There comes the Storm to stun all of them, but that's not going to be it seems like that is just enough to get all the members except for Junkrat.
That was really well played by TTSST, I feel. He went straight into the back line and effectively isolated both Stukov and Junkrat from the rest of their team. And GLuck just really couldn't do anything in that situation. They were without their support, without their, main source of AoE damage, and the rest of the team fight was going pretty well, but it was also going 3v4. They couldn't really do anything, and this definitely could be core.
And does have the curse. All the members, GLuck, they're having members respawning very soon, but the core is going down 30%, low 20% now, and they do get the kill on Nubarak too, and that's going to be game number 2. It was not as